Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday night edition of the Around the Ropes radio show. Yes, guys, we are back. The team of John and Ray are back for another episode. And Ray, how you been? What's going on? How you shaking?
You know, I am doing good. Some might say a little better than others. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, we will. And guys, before we get any further, definitely would appreciate if you guys share the video, share the link, show your friends, your family, your sister's ass, what we do here every Tuesday night for the better part of almost the last 4 years. I mean, don't show your sister's ass. That would be a little weird, but, if you have to, go right ahead.
I got nothing. I'm just along for the ride, folks.
But yeah, we got a lot to get to. And actually, before we get into that, we do have a guest coming up tonight at 9:15. He is the co-producer of The Last Match, the musical. Michael Tivey joins us. So I look forward to having him on. But guys, we have a lot to get to. And the first thing I want to get to, obviously, well, before we get into that, I do want to make a quick mention. For this one, I don't usually put out a, viewer discretion. It is advised. But for this one, we might as well put one out because there was an incident this past weekend.
Oh, we're going right into it. You ain't playing no games today.
No.
Okay.
This past weekend at an independent wrestling show in the Better, Texas area, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it involved Quentin Rampage Jackson's son. Now, in case you don't know, obviously Quentin Rampage, had a little bit of a run in wrestling. He was with TNA, I think, for the Main Event Mafia all those years ago.
Briefly, I think. I can't.
When it was like that weird.
That's when TNA was so difficult to find because they were going through TV stations like underwear.
Exactly. And there was an incident where Quentin Rampage Jackson's son decided to get into the ring. And if I say lay haymakers in to this wrestler who, mind you, is a Army vet, suffered from PTSD, that would be an understatement. I mean, Ray, let me ask you.
Bro, I mean, are they considered haymakers if the person that you're beating on is unconscious and unable to defend themselves?
This is why it's such a tough topic to talk about because...
I mean, you want to know what you want to know what we would normally call that? That's some pussy-ass bitch shit.
But realistically, did you get a chance to see the video at all?
Oh, multiple times.
First, initial thoughts. What did you think of it when you first saw it?
At first, when I saw, oh God, I can't even remember dude's name.
Stu something.
No, I know it's Psycho Stu.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, what the hell is Jackson's, Raja?
Yeah, Raja.
Is it Raja? Raja Jackson. Okay. When I saw Raja Jackson jump the barricade and get into the ring, I was like, oh, cool. Following in his old man's footsteps, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was following in his dad's footsteps. And then he picks up Psycho Stu Stewart. Right? Stu Stewart?
Yeah, Psycho Stu, I think was his name.
Yeah. His kayfabe name was Psycho Stu.
Yeah.
Anyway, picks him up with a very basic double leg. He's got him up, and this is why I thought it was a work, okay? Because he scoops the legs. He's walking around with him on his shoulder, so I'm like, oh, he's gonna give him like a modified spine buster. Cool. This is really cool. And then he brings him down. And you can tell just by the way that he brought him down, there was malicious intent behind it. Okay? You see Stu's head basketball. I can't even say ping pong. Basketball off the ring. Off the mat. And then you have Jackson's son, who is a trained MMA fighter, in the mount position, just throwing 22 punches before he gets pulled off to an unconscious man. Think about that for a second. I'm going to say that again. Dude, and by dude I mean Psycho Stu, was out on impact from that double leg because you see his head basketball off the mat. He mounts him, which I will say it was a very fluid transition for, UFC fans or mixed martial arts fans. It was a smooth transition, I will say that. But that's where it should have stopped. Any trained fighter knows the fight stops when your opponent is unable to defend himself or knocked out. And he just laid 22 full force punches. It was said by the referee and the wrestler that he was actually in the ring with, Psycho Stu, was actually in the ring with, said that you could hear Stu choking on his own blood and his own teeth. His own blood and his own teeth. I know that sounds graphic, but I can't say it enough times to a point where everybody can understand the gravitas of the situation. The man was dying internally. Because what happens if you're choking on your own blood and teeth? You can't breathe. That is why you are choking. I have a lot of words. None of them are nice, and therefore nothing to say in response to that. I understand that Rampage is not going to down talk his son. It's his son.
Yeah.
And it was probably the most generic dad statement that was put out. Out of all of the statements in favor, and there are a lot, of Jackson 2's assault, premeditated assault, I guess we could call it, of Psycho Stu, it was a very blanket, generic dad statement.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. I think, to me, when you look at what happened, and again, I saw the video like you, like everybody else, quite often. At first, I was like, this can't be legit. And then when you, and I mean, not to pull back the curtain here, but we know when you see punches getting thrown, a lot of times, they're not really, not to break, the fourth wall here, but they're not really hitting the person, so to speak.
Bro, have you seen the new Netflix series from WWE? There is no more fourth wall. No. So there's no more, behind the scenes. There's no more, behind baseball or inside baseball. So, yeah, let's be honest. We can tell when somebody is pulling their punches. Because as wrestling fans and seeing it for so long, we can tell. We can also tell who's got really good punches. And Ric Flair, in his heyday, had some of the best punches. Not one connected. Him and Bret Hart, not a single one of them connected. Didn't potato anybody unless they had to. Okay?
But I'll go a step further. You remember, God, what was it? A couple of years ago, they had that whole angle on Dynamite. And I think it was towards the end of Dynamite when they were still doing the Elite versus, it was Cody Rhodes, Dustin, and this when Dark Order first started making their presence known.
Okay. Yeah. You're talking about the. Yeah, I already know I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with
the
this.
Extra who who clearly was missing Dustin's face by like
Oh,
3 miles.
he was chicken noodling. He was chicken noodling his punches.
Yeah, but we know, like, we know enough in pro wrestling that they're not really hidden. The punches that
Right.
Raja was hitting in this incident,
Was throwing.
those weren't throwing. Those were, like I said at the top of the show, those were haymakers. But here's now the interesting question I bring up to you now. Who do you put more of the blame on? Rampage Jackson.
Can I take a page out of Raja Jackson's book and say I put the blame on the cameraman for still recording it?
You saw that, right?
Oh my! I wish I didn't. What is the old saying? How does the old saying go? Best to let everybody think you are an idiot than open thine mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah, when he said that, he goes, I blame the cameraman. I'm like, really?
Well, cameraman's there just catching strays like, I'm just doing my job, bro.
Yeah. But apparently it's the cameraman's fault that he jumped the barricade, hopped into the ring, took down, took what's his face down, Stu down, and all of a sudden turned around, and it was the cameraman's fault that, Raja ended up landing 22 shots.
To an already unconscious man. I really need everybody to have that stressed. To an unconscious man.
Yeah,
most of the time, people can't even think of hitting a sleeping person. Never mind an unconscious person, and this dude hit him 22 times.
Well, the funny thing is also, they showed a video from before the doors open, and Stu went to go hit Raja in the head with a soda can of soda.
It was a prop beer can, which is why when Stu hit him with it, there was no effect.
No,
because he thought, and that's why Stu goes, "You're not going to sell it."
But when that whole thing happened, there are people who actually put the blame on Stu.
Well, yeah, that's because they didn't realize that Stu actually apologized and shook his hand. If you had a problem with it, you don't shake the man's hand.
No.
But you say, nah, man, we not cool. We not cool like that, bruh. I don't know you like that.
No, but, I mean, okay, perfect example. Last week we had the technical problem.
Yeah.
I guess I should blame, the post office?
No, I believe we were solely putting the blame on StreamYard at the time.
But you get my point, though.
Yeah, I got you.
But I read today that, well, first of all, do you know who owns that promotion where this whole incident happened?
Yeah, I do.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a rant from him yet.
Well, so I read something, and I saw it in doom scrolling, right? Who doesn't doom scroll when they're in the bathroom? I was doom scrolling, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I got sidetracked, and I tried to go back to it. I couldn't find the article. But it said something along the lines, and I am not sure how true this is because, again, I didn't get a chance to read the article. But they had, in the headline of the article was, Rikishi is telling staff members of Knox Pro Wrestling to not cooperate with the authorities.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I read supposedly that, well, first of all, I also read that, whatchamacallit, they dropped the WBID program with them. I heard that.
WWE does not want to be associated whatsoever in this. They quickly pulled out.
Yeah. And that supposedly they released the 2 wrestlers from that school.
Yeah, they released the 2 wrestlers from that school that were already in the program, which I don't think that was the right thing to do. It's not their fault.
No, but I think the way WWE's looking at it is they want to clear...
They don't want to be tied... Yeah, no, I get it. It still sucks that, instead of just grandfathering them in, or saying that they don't work for that promotion, maybe help him out and be like, yo, go evolve, go.
Yeah, I think that would have made a lot more sense. But like I said, I see it from where WWE's perspective is.
Hold
It's
on. Can you put a pin in that? Put a
Okay.
pin in that. Okay? Because what I need you to do is I need you to pull up the comment that just came in from our friend across the pond.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He said, "Hey, John, took me a while to find the live. LOL. David, thank you so much for still continuing to search for it, even though John didn't put it front and center. John, why are we self-sabotaging?"
I shared it like I always do.
Methinks not.
I share like I always do. But no, David, I agree with what Ray said, though. I'm glad you were able to watch this tonight. And like I said, I shared it to enough people. I don't know if Facebook just isn't putting the show out there to people anymore. But hey, it is what it is. But
All right, listen. So, is this going to be the theme of the show from now on? Last week we were blaming StreamYard for the internet issues. Today we're blaming Facebook for David having difficulty finding the stream. What's it going to be next week?
it won't be anything next week, I promise.
Methinks you lie.
I'm going to behave on that one. But when you look,
Sir.
Oh wait,
What?
he goes. I think he must say give up.
I'm pretty sure there's an up missing in there.
Yeah.
David's been a pretty faithful follower. So I'm going to say that he does what I do all the time, which is I said it in my head and I typed the next word in the sentence. So he said, I never give on the show. I'm pretty sure our friend David means I never give up on the show.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. But as far as this whole thing, though, I mean, it's I don't know if it's putting a bad light on wrestling now, but this is a tough part.
Hold on, hold that thought. I need you to explain to me why you think that puts a bad light on the entire industry of wrestling.
Oh no, I'm not saying the entire industry. I'm just saying with certain. I was going to explain what I was getting at here.
The reason why I asked that, I'm sorry. The reason why I asked that question is because you said wrestling. Wrestling encompasses the industry of professional wrestling. So that's why I thought you were painting with broad strokes here.
No. I was.
Another comment in from John. I keep seeing his middle name and looking at you, and I'm like, we're going to go with John David John Reynolds. How about that? That's your new name, David. John David John Reynolds. He said, I'll move hell or high water to find the show, guys. Missed a word due to quick typing. That's appreciated very much. As far as missing a word due to quick typing, don't even worry about it. We all do it.
We do it here in the
John
States.
misses full sentences.
Yeah, people.
Not John David John, just John.
My point is this. Oh, by the way, guys, I also want to make one quick mention. Also, unfortunately, we will not have the Wilson's Corner this week.
No, seems like your internet issues from StreamYard flew all the way down to South Carolina.
We'll hopefully have him on
our
next.
Boy a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have him. Hopefully his debut will be next week.
I wish I could remember for the life of Veer.
That's exactly
what it
what I was going with.
That's what it was. Oh my God. We're going with I see what he's doing. He's taking the Veer approach. Right? He's taking the Veer approach and he's just gonna be like, I can't do it this week, college football. I can't do it this week, pro football. I can't do it this week, your sister's ass. I can't do it this week. And we're just gonna be here every Tuesday being like, next week he will debut. Next week he will debut. And then he's gonna drop the show and nobody's gonna say anything. He's just there's gonna be like 2 episodes that just show up out of the blue.
But yeah, guys, if you want, actually Ray kind of put it perfectly. We don't know when he's gonna debut. We'll have him come in, have a couple of squash matches. We'll get the memes going. You remember the memes that came out with the Veer coming?
Oh my God. So bad. But you know what? It was such a funny, it was a lighthearted, funny thing that happened. Especially, and it was right around the pandemic time. So like all that goofy shit was so appreciated because we'd all been in the house for fucking 3 months, bro.
Yeah, but no, it's God. That's bringing back. That was him, and who was his tag partner?
It was Shaky.
Oh, you mean the guy? Yeah, the guy who danced his entire way.
Yeah, who they put. So here, like, I know. If we go way, way, way back in Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine, right? And we go into the archives of ATR. Deep in the archive, I feel like either me, you, Kevin, or probably all 3 of us had a rant about how they fumbled Veer.
Oh, we probably did.
How Veer was like the first Indian high school student to be drafted to the major leagues, and instead of going with that, they gave him the, they could have given the background. They could have invested. They could have given you background that made you as the viewer, as the fan, invest in him. Be like, oh, like some actual real IRL backstory, and they still could have made him a monster. Hell, because of his fastball at like 99 miles an hour when he was in high school, they could have had him use the clothesline from hell. Because of like constantly, like they do with Braun Breaker, right? He runs the ropes at 23 miles an hour. They could do that with they could have done that with Veer, right? Oh my God, he just hit him with a lariat from an arm that throws 100 miles an hour. How does he even have a chest?
No, you're 100% right. And well, you gotta also remember though, who was running the company at that point?
No, I get it, and I understand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I got nothing. I tried.
Hate to be the party pooper in that one, but
every party has a pooper. That's why we invited you.
But
if you don't get that, that was a Father of the Bride, the first one reference. That was the great Martin Short with the also great Steve Martin.
But no, but we could literally do an entire episode on every fumble that WWE has done in the last 20 years. Actually, we wouldn't be able to do one show. We'd have to do an entire new show just called WWE Fumbles.
I like that. I think you just came up with a new idea. Do you think Kevin Wilson is going to steal that and put a little bit of that in his show when it debuts?
I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I've come to a realization: this show, no matter who's with me, within the first 20, 25 minutes of the show, it automatically goes right off the rails.
Bro, how many times have I told you this is the crazy train, brother?
Well, hold on. You got to think carefully here because Becky Lynch made a mention about Ozzy last night on Monday Night Raw, and yeah, Kelly Osbourne did not like that.
I did see that Kelly Osbourne with some pretty harsh words for Ozzy. I do. I didn't hear the comments because, like I said, off air, very busy weekend, a lot of things to do. Plus, with the with work ramping up, it was yesterday was hectic.
Supposedly, she made a comment where they were in Birmingham, England.
Birmingham, Alabama.
No, that's not. No, we're not talking about our truth. We're talking about Becky. Yeah.
Isn't Birmingham in Alabama?
Yeah, but there's also Birmingham in England.
Well, I said Birmingham, Alabama.
Our good friend David chimes in and goes,
John David John typed it. I give up. I'm going home, guys. I'm sorry.
It says Kelly tore Becky a new one.
She did. It was getting. Thank you for keeping us back on track, David. Appreciate that. It was it was short. It was very sweet, unless you're, Becky. I feel like they might be foreshadowing something. Maybe because we all know that Ozzy was a big wrestling fan. He hosted Monday Night Raw how many times? He let them use War Pigs for the first major War Games.
And I think the other ones also, I think pretty much every War Games has had the Ozzy.
War Pigs. Yeah, I think so.
Or
at least an Ozzy anthem.
Well, I think the one you're thinking of was the one year where he actually performed it, not live, but you actually saw him there, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right. Wow, I forgot about that. Good recall. So I personally, as a wrestling fan, I think that would have been something that got a pop out of Ozzy. Right? Now, do I think that with Ozzy's passing, maybe just now hitting about a month ago, that enough time had lapsed where that may have been received differently? That's also a possibility, but I feel like it was done purposely because, as we know, WWE doesn't do anything accidentally. I think that was done purposely to foreshadow a possible celebrity showdown. Maybe at WrestleMania Vegas 2.
We're going to touch
with Kelly and Becky. David says, I've got to hand it to Michael Cole and Alicia Taylor on Raw, by the way. When they announced Birmingham, they actually used the UK pronunciation. Were you aware that there was a different pronunciation?
I can barely speak English. I didn't know there was a...
I mean, to quote Sam Jackson from one of the greatest movies of all time, Pulp Fiction, English, do you speak it, mother?
Yeah,
I just realized that we should have been censoring ourselves earlier because of our friends over at Odyssey and giving us the privilege of being on between 12 and 2, which is prime family time. So we don't want to be too crass.
No, but I do want to... No, but as far as, I mean, could it happen? Possibly. I'm not sure.
Again, I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying, like, for me, as somebody who remembers Ozzy showing these clips of Ozzy being involved in WWE. I that's really the only thing I can think of. I don't think that like Becky would have done anything that was malicious. And our friend David said, yes, there is different pronunciation. You see, the U.S. say Birmingham, Birmingham, ham, and the U.K. they say Birmingham, Birmingham.
You know what would be perfect right
So
now?
he's saying that we add an H where there isn't one, and there actually isn't one in the UK pronunciation. It's Birmingham.
You know what's funny? You know what would be the perfect thing if we had it right now, I would play it. You know the old, I forgot when it was. This goes back to like the 90s, 80s and 90s, when it came up with the thing of The More You Know.
Oh, the NBC. The more you know.
Dave, I'm not trying to do it to, talk down on you, but I'm just saying that this would be like perfect for that.
No,
right
I
now.
had absolutely no idea. That's literally why I asked the question when he brought up the US pronunciation and the UK pronunciation.
Yeah, but there's so many things though that if you look at, I saw a video a while back that the UK it's pronounced one way, then the US it's pronounced a different way, even though it's the same exact item or the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you mentioned WrestleMania. I know we're kind of jumping around here a little bit.
A little bit.
I want to get into this quickly with you. I want to get your thoughts on this. And we'll get to, we got another comment coming in here.
Oh, from Jay Manuel over on the Facebook. Jay, thank you for tuning in and watching the live. He says, the crowd in Birmingham last night on Raw wasn't doing it for me. There were some good matches,
You had to say but.
the crowd was dead for most of it. And we're live toward the end of a good match. And to quote the Hurricane, he says, what's up with that?
I don't know. I thought the crowd, what do you think with the crowd last night on Raw? Or yesterday afternoon, sorry, because it was at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Why? Why was it 2 o'clock? Oh, okay. For those of you that can't see, John just threw his hands up and papers all over the place. He has no explanation whatsoever. He was just like that fucking meme from The Office. Anyway, what was the question?
Oh, with the crowd. What did you think of the crowd?
Oh, what did I think of the crowd? Yeah, I thought it was a little flat, but now remembering that it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like, to quote Tom Brady, ain't nobody getting lubed up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a wrestling show.
Yeah, we got to realize, even though it was 2 o'clock our time, it was 8 o'clock UK time.
Oh. Oh, so they were in Birmingham, England, and not Birmingham, Alabama?
Yes.
Now the R-Truth joke makes sense. Oh, I get it now. I get it.
Honestly,
John, I have one question, John.
What's up?
When you saw me going down the path that explained where I explained myself, and you didn't once think to yourself, "Oh, he thinks it was in Birmingham, Alabama."
I was
clarify that it was the UK.
I was waiting to see how long you would pick up on it.
Oh, you are playing a very dangerous game, sir. I see what you're doing.
But no, as far as the crowd, the crowd. So in case people are watching this, we're not aware. Yes, Raw yesterday was in the United Kingdom because obviously Sunday they're in Paris for Clash in Paris. Not Paris,
Clash at the Castle.
Not Paris, Texas, Paris. I don't know if there's a Paris, Texas, but you get my point.
I think there might be a Paris, Texas. I'm not sure.
Probably is. But my point is this: for anybody who's watching this who may not be aware, Raw yesterday was in Birmingham, England. That's where they were on at 2:00.
See, now that makes so much more sense.
If they were in Birmingham, Alabama, they'd be on at 8:00. Oh my God!
Don't say that, because they were. They had a stateside show back in like June where they were on at like 3 p.m, and they were stateside, John. They were stateside.
That one was because I remember that was when they were in Pittsburgh.
Yes. So you can't say anything.
Well, I think honestly, what they're going to start doing come when football season starts is we're going to get earlier Raws.
You're saying we're going to get Raw
They're
earlier?
not on USA Network anymore. So who's to say
you just said we're going to get Raw earlier?
Did you just say
that we're going to get Raw earlier?
Yes, even stateside, I think we are.
Oh, okay.
Because because think about it this way. I got what you're saying. Who's to say that, they're not on USA Network anymore? They don't have to compete with the Monday Night Football games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, speaking about football, and this is sort of a weird transition here.
Yeah, because you've got me fucking wondering what the hell's going on right now.
Do want to send a minor shout out to Jeff Jarrett's babysitter, Taylor Swift, who got engaged today.
Womp, womp, womp.
Hey, there are people who want to know.
No, I get that, and I really do love the wrestling connection that you made. And yes, folks, that is absolutely 100% true. There's actually footage going around of Jeff Jarrett being filmed for a wrestling promo, and his babysitter is playing the piano, and his babysitter is a 14-year-old Taylor Swift?
Yes.
So, yeah. Just jamming out on the piano with the two little kids there, keeping them entertained.
Yeah. And she just got engaged today, so congratulations to her. And her future next big hit, and that future husband, Travis Kelce.
Wow, you went there.
But let's get back to wrestling here, because I feel like we're really going off the rails here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no need to talk about that Dollar Tree version of Rob Gronkowski at all whatsoever.
What happened?
I said there's no need to talk anymore about the Dollar Tree version of Rob Gronkowski.
Oh God, no. Yeah, no, I don't want to. Believe me, I don't want it. But I want to get into a few of them.
Who, by the way, signed a one-day deal. 1 day. See that? One. Putting my ones up. 1 day deal with the New England Patriots so that he can retire a Patriot.
Hey, he was
we appreciate
if I remember correctly, wasn't he a former 24/7 champion?
He was. You know who's never been a 24/7 champion?
Us?
Besides us?
Kevin Wilson?
I fucking hate you, John. Travis Kelce. You knew what I was trying to do and you spoiled it. You spoiled it, Cruella DeVille.
But I want to get into, because like I said, we got Michael Tivey joining us at 9:15, so looking forward to that. But I want to get into, you mentioned WrestleMania next year being in Vegas.
Vegas Part 2, baby.
And they already announced ticket prices for front row. Ray, got a question for you. What's up?
Are we going to play a guessing game?
Yeah.
I like games.
I would say, how much do you think they're going for?
Front row, Vegas Part 2? Are we talking hard camera side or opposite? Or are we talking opposite hard camera? Or are we talking hard camera side? We talking behind commentators?
Opposite, where green shirt guy usually sits.
Oh, hard camera side?
Yeah.
6 G's, easy.
I read some. I trying to remember here. It was, I think, close to 70,000 for one seat. You know what I'm actually gonna do right now? Hold on. While we're live on air right now, I'm gonna look up ticket prices now.
Jay over in YouTube land. Thank you, Jay. Already did the legwork for you. He said, I believe the last known price was $18,000.
Well, let me ask you this now. Do you have a couple $1,000s to lay out for front row seats for WrestleMania?
Bro, I don't even have a couple $100 to lay out for front row seats for anything. Have you seen this economy? Have you seen the prices at the grocery store? I mean, let's be real here. Like, I mean, I understand that the multi-billion-dollar companies got to make their millions and billions, but bro, really? Like Jay over in YouTube land just said, bruh, it's a struggle for eggs. I think last time I checked, I was paying $22.99 for a dozen.
God, yeah, it's. Hold on, I'm curious to see now if they've gone up in price. I'm going to check online.
Eggs go up almost every week in price. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about for WrestleMania.
I thought we were talking about eggs.
Yeah, Jay, as you are. I'm looking up. Right, in case you forgot, this is a pro wrestling show, not a cooking show.
Oh. Okay. That's not what my contract says, though. Just saying.
Okay, here we go. Now, do you want me to check? Do you want to see if it's 2 nights? You want me to check the prices for a 2-night pass or a 1-night pass or a 1 day?
What do we think Green Shirt Guy's going to do? He's going to do 2 nights, right? So let's just do the Green Shirt Guy package.
All right. Right now, according to StubHub, you can get prices. I'm just looking here right now. StubHub has prices. Now I'm going basically. Apparently they have nothing available.
Spit it out. It don't belong to you.
$27,228
for 2 nights.
For 2 nights.
Okay, so that's actually really close to what Jay had said. So 27,000. That's like it's about 16 grand. If you divide it up evenly, which you know it's not because you want to sell the packages, and by selling the packages, you sell 2 tickets at the price where if you divide it in half, it's still less than what you would buy a regular ticket for. Thank you, folks. That is Marketing 101.
The cheapest seats, this is according to StubHub,
is
the cheapest one is section 408, row 17, which I think must be like right by the roof.
I would assume so. That's got to be like right by the roof behind one of the stanchions that hold up the entrance.
That one you're getting for $973, and that's the cheapest price.
I got nothing.
I'll enjoy WrestleMania from the comfort of my house.
Yeah, me too. And you know how much it's going to cost me? $3.99.
But I mean, it's insane how much ticket prices are going up.
Bro, it's insane how much any prices are going up.
But I mean, let's say you go to like Yankee Stadium or even Fenway, where Boston plays.
I'm sorry. Did you say Fenway Park? It's Fenway Park.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm a New Yorker.
Park.
You're not paying. You're not walking out. You're walking in there, spending a minimum $300.
Yeah, probably. That's that's probably about right.
And this is where I keep telling people, I've said it for the last 4 years. If you have the opportunity to go to an independent wrestling show, go to it.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Would you rather pay $27,000 for WrestleMania seats or $30 to go see indie wrestling?
Honestly, I'd rather pay I'd rather pay $50. It's $30 for the tickets, $20 on concessions, and you might even get a surprise appearance by Matt Cardona, Shotzi Blackheart, like Natty. Like, I don't even know, like, who pays her? Because clearly WWE can't be paying her because she's going on everything that's not WWE. You know, but again, that is something that could be that could happen. I know that Beyond Wrestling up here in the Northeast, it's really kind of a big to do. They surprise their crowds with people all the time. XWA down in Warwick, Rhode Island, they had Austin Theory. Like, so
another example, GCW this past weekend was down in Atlantic City.
Had Superhuman earlier this month.
Yeah, or not even that. Killer Cross.
So, there's, as much as I hate lamenting over the fact of the pandemic and the fact that it even happened, I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened, because people were just going to they were going out there just to perform.
And exactly, I forgot. Cross is going to be at House of Glory in September.
Oh my goodness. Really?
He's taking on Cardona.
Oh, that's going to be good. I need to see him and Cardona in GCW, no holds barred.
And, our good friend David said, John, if I lived over here, he goes, I'd gladly pay a few dollars to watch any indie show for sure. And that's what we're talking about here. I'd rather pay 20.
Hold on. I'm cutting you off because do they not have indie wrestling over in the UK?
Be better to probably ask David that question. John David John, as you like to put it.
John David John. I need you to answer that question. Hey, Billy Ann Wolf from Facebook Land says, "Hey, friends."
Hey, Billy.
Hi, Billy. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
By all means, take a seat over on the viewing couch and enjoy the chaos that will ensue.
But we always say it though. You go to an indie show, you never, and also you don't know if somebody that you see on there is going to be eventually on a WWE or an AEW.
Yeah, or a TNA, which could then mean WWE.
He said not as frequently as in the US.
Okay. That makes sense, sir. That makes sense.
But prime example. You watch TNA, especially like me who watch TNA. I can tell you how many times I sit there and go, "Oh wait, I recognize who that is. I've seen him before. I've spoken to him before."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, prime example. Go back to Slammiversary, the one that just happened a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And the opening match was Ali versus Cedric Alexander.
A banger of a banger.
And coming out was how Ali has his almost like his Secret Service type of shtick. Half the guys in there I recognize. I'm like, wait, that's Papa Don. Vicious Vicky's back there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see, but it's like you don't know. You can see these guys, and then eventually, they could be on a bigger platform.
Listen, I know an indie wrestler, and I'm gonna shout out the org, right? Which is Showcase Pro Wrestling here in the Northeast, And I do know that when the organizations come um, this way and they need extras, they pluck a lot from Showcase. And my nephew's brother actually ends up being pulled a lot of the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Um, he's always in there for security. He was I think he was in there for Slammiversary, if I'm not mistaken. So, but we're actually getting behind in some of the comments. We got John David John, who said, "I dare say the UK has a very vast amount of armchair wrestling fans." Well, I think that the U.S. has them too, right? Isn't that what we are? Aren't we armchair wrestling fans? I've
Yeah.
never taken a bump in my life. You've never taken a bump in your life, but we are interconnected into our, indie organizations, whether it's through somebody we know, through work that we've done with them, So, I mean, technically, aren't we armchair wrestling fans?
Well, technically, I did take one bump.
Oh, here we go.
I did take a bump once.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and tell the story, John.
Last year, Titan Championship Wrestling had a show down at Seaside Heights, and I was the ring announcer. I'll try to find the video and I'll repost it. And
But
there's
you
a
don't
wrestler.
already have it on your phone ready to go. I,
No,
I, I love the fake modesty, John.
actually, no, I don't. And the whole premise of it was Anthony Gangone, who was one of the big names in the Jersey area, uh, came and applied the mandible claw.
Ooh, how'd that taste?
Did not taste good, to be honest.
I wouldn't wash my hands if I was going to put the mandible claw on you. Just so you know.
Let's get some of these other comments
So
here.
Jay, going back to the Cedric Alexander, Muhammad Ali, Ali Mustafa. Sorry, Mustafa Ali. Wrestling match said that it was match of the night. He is surprised that Ali is not champion yet. I would agree with that. I feel like he's made a big enough name, or has continued to make a big enough name for himself, and been a part of some pretty. He's always kind of in the background over at TNA, right? Like, he may not be front and center, but he's like really good supporting when he's not front and center, and when he's front and center, he's like nails, like lights out all the time. So, I got to be honest with you, Jay. That brings up a good point that we can actually table and discuss at a later time. But John David John says, armchair as in watching from home. That makes more sense, sir. That
Well,
makes
hold
more
on.
sense.
I want to go back to the Ali thing for a second. For the Ali
Oh,
second,
okay.
for a second, yeah.
Huh?
I get what you guys are saying, but here's my only question:
Uh-huh.
you were to put the world heavyweight title on him. Obviously, we know now Trick Williams has it.
Yep.
Could he sell you to come to a TNA show if you know Mustafa Ali is your world heavyweight champion? Could he sell you on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not talking about like uh uh what was that damn faction that he was supposedly the mouthpiece for?
Oh, Retribution.
Retribution. I'm not talking about Retribution Ali, right? I'm talking like, remember when he first got cut and he did this promo and it had such emotion, such feeling behind it?
Mhm.
Like, he had me sold. I was like, I'm going to book a flight. Let's go. I want to see this dude. I feel like if you give somebody the championship, right? You have to give them more freedom on what to say or do, because you're by giving them the championship, you're taking away one of the biggest aspects of their character development and of their continuing storyline, because everybody is always better in the chase, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
you have that goal and you want them to reach that goal. And how many times have we seen it that we have seen somebody in the chase and everybody is behind them. And then 2 weeks into their championship title run, the crowd starts to turn on them. Because there's an aspect that's missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to give that freedom that they essentially lose, or you got to give them that freedom in return for that piece of their character that they lose by becoming the champion.
I get what you're saying. I'll go a step further, just piggybacking on what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
A prime example of that, and I hate to say it, Cody Rhodes, when he held that title for the first run, I felt like it was very and on the show we were talking about it for months.
Mm-hmm.
The chase was better because unfortunately, and I use Cody, and I know using Cody's not the perfect example, but I feel like with Cody in his first run as champion,
yeah,
they protected him because we all knew the only way that he was going to drop that title was it was either going to be to Cena, Roman, or Rock. I mean, you look at Cody's run with that first time he held that belt, and I bring this up every time. Look at every rival, every story he had. Other than Kevin Owens and what we saw with him and John at WrestleMania, is there one that stands out to you?
You're talking about when he won that first
title, the first time coming out of WrestleMania 40.
No, not really.
That's my point. Is him chasing the belt? Oh, that was storytelling at its finest.
Right, because you had that, but that, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You had the story of Dusty never holding it, that he and how much that photo that never actually made it out there meant to him because, you know, it was Dusty holding the title and everything like that. And, you know, I'll answer your question with a question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
What feud of Cody's do you remember before he won the first time?
The only one that comes to mind is him and Dustin in AEW.
I'm talking about in WWE.
Oh, WWE? Honestly, him and Seth, I think would be the perfect one.
Yeah. Because it was a good-ass feud.
Yeah.
It was good-ass storytelling.
Yeah, but that's the one thing, and you know, people who watch the show religiously, that's one thing I always preach, right, is the storytelling. I look at a match, you know, what gets me with a match, yeah, you know, you may have, you know, all your moves, you know, your 800 super kicks, you know, all that mumbo jumbo. But if I'm going to be a fan, either, perfect example, this past weekend we had Forbidden Door. Yes, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance I wasn't going to shell $50 for a 27-hour pay-per-view.
Listen, I told you before, I got a guy. Just let me know. I got a guy.
But my point is this, and I've said this a lot with AEW, and actually, we broke the news earlier today, but I'll mention it here in a second. You know, people know my gripe with AEW. It's not with the wrestlers.
It's never with the wrestlers.
No. And actually, speaking of AEW, I just want to make this quick mention here, Ray, because, oh, never mind. I did not put the graphic in here. News broke earlier today, actually.
News break.
September 2nd. 8:30.
8:30.
Joining us here
on the Around the Ropes radio show,
Nyla Rose.
The one and only native beast, Nyla Rose.
Will be on with us next week. Also, I can confirm now Mike Skyros will be on with us as well next week.
I'm sorry. You made me feel immediately bad for Mike because we had that huge buildup for Nyla Rose, and then it was just like, oh yeah, and Mike's gonna be on too.
No, but no,
Sorry,
this is
Mike.
going to be huge that we got Nyla Rose coming on.
Huge, huge.
This is the first, and I thought about it when I put the post out earlier. This is the first wrestler we've had on the 4 years of the show that is seen on TV still.
Yeah. And I can't wait for her to come in here and just put her foot across your neck. You have bashed AEW twice this show and like 3 times the last show. So I cannot wait for her to just eat you alive.
But yeah, guys, that's coming up next week. We got Michael Tivey joining us in about 15 minutes or so, give or take. But Ray, why don't we go
like 14?
Yeah, about 14 or so. Why don't we go to a quick break so I can play your favorite song again?
Flo? Are you playing Flo?
Yes. And coming out from this break, we'll get more into the Cody Rhodes talk and so much more. Guys, you are listening to the Around the Ropes radio show on any of your audio streaming platforms, or you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back here live on the Around the Ropes radio show. As you can, unfortunately, if you listen to us, you can't. Ray was kind of bopping his head to it. Guys, definitely go check out Flow, Fantastic League of Wrestling. Great friends of the show. We're hopefully
great friends.
A couple of weeks going to have on the other owner, Scott Jones, who should be on with us in the next couple of weeks, and also have some talent on as well. So you definitely not going to miss that, guys. We also have a crazy week of interviews coming up for you guys.
Crazy.
Coming up tomorrow night, we have Matic joining us. And from Wrestling Revolver, yes, we're going for the big companies now. Phil Stamper will be on with us as well. Price Puregold will be on with us this week. Sarah and Rain will be on with us this week. Yeah, guys, there's a reason why we're getting to where we're getting to. And it's not because of our good looks.
Speak for yourself, old man.
Hey. But before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about, with Ali, and we were saying how I get what you guys are saying. I think he is talented. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if he would sell me on being a world champion right away. I think you could have a better shot if you look at TNA right now. and I still think they should pull the trigger for this at Semiversary. Mike Santana.
Oh my God! And what a story that is, right?
That I think is when you pull. I mean, let's be honest. We're probably gonna get something at Bound for Glory
Mm-hmm.
up in your neck of the woods in October, but I still think that's a missed opportunity. I think you should have pulled the trigger right there.
Isn't this such a nice problem to have, though, when you're TNA? Who do I put the belt on? Do I put it on fantastic Mike Santana? Or do I put it on equally fantastic Mustafa Ali?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I mean, what a problem to have. Meanwhile, you got some organizations that it's like, oh, it's the 37 and a half time that, you know, Creator Wrestler's been fucking champion. Or everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite. You remember this guy? There was a point that he was there a lot. Vacant.
yes.
Vacant has held 9,722 titles.
Yes, and our stats show, and we looked it up during the commercial break. But let's go back to the comments here. Jay said the TNA belt was on Alex Shelley, but he never sell asses to seats. I forgot.
That's exactly his point, though.
Yeah, but wasn't it also during the pandemic, though?
I think so.
That's why, to me, it's tough. This is why this is a tough thing to talk about, because you can't include the pandemic in this.
So should we not include Drew McIntyre's run?
Unfortunately, you can't.
But you remember Drew McIntyre's run.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad he won it. But I just think the issue is with a lot, when you get to the point.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just being the contrarian, just to, because you brought up a point about the pandemic, which I absolutely agree with. The pandemic should absolutely be its own metric, right? Hopefully one that is never repeated in our lifetimes.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you on that. But that's why my whole thing is, when you're sitting here saying, oh, guys like Alex Shelley, yeah, but look at what you were dealing with at the moment. I think the same thing would have been, let's say Drew would have won the title and there would have been a crowd there. I think the crowd would have erupted.
Oh,
okay.
Jay just put us on something. He said, "Nah, guys, listen up. Alex Shelley's run was after the pandemic. Butts were already in seats back when they were in the small arenas. His most notable match was being Nick Aldis's last match."
Yes, but I think also, and I get what Jay's saying, but I think you also have to realize, coming out of the pandemic, how long
was just as bad as being in the pandemic.
Exactly. How long was it that even though we were out of the pandemic, we were still not seeing the crowds?
I think it took almost a year for things to start to get back to normal.
Yeah, and that's what we're just trying to say here is, you look at, I would say honestly, pandemic started in 2020.
I mean, yes, in America it started in 2020. Worldwide it started in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. I would say from 2019 till about 2023, 24, or 22. No, I'm saying until everything really started coming back to normal. I would say 23.
Yeah, maybe end of 22, start of 23.
So I think basically when you talk about wrestling from 2019 to 2022, I think you have to kind of exclude that, unfortunately. And probably oh, okay, I see what he's saying. He says probably end of 2022. Yeah, what we were just saying. But you look at, but that's why it's so tough to sit there and sit there and say, well, again, I'm not trying deter what Drew McIntyre did and what Alex Shelley did. They were great wrestlers.
No, I know, but we're just trying to make the case that there should absolutely be a clear distinction for those years.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, great example. Who? Okay, we talk about TNA, we talk about WWE. Does anybody remember who the AEW champion was at that point?
No, and unfortunately, I kind of have a really good reason for this because the only thing that I can remember in AEW at that time is the passing of Brody Lee.
Yes. But the only
like,
thing
for me, that overshadows everything else that was done in AEW at that time.
Yeah, no, another thing I also remember from AEW during that time was every week they were running in Daly's place. Every week.
Well, your boss owns it. So,
No,
I
boss's
mean,
daddy, get it right.
Okay, fine. Your boss's daddy, even though it's in a property trust and he's one of the holders of the property trust, fine, we can do that. Your owner's daddy owns the venue. There's literally zero cost for running Daly's place. Why wouldn't you do it? You know what I remember about WWE? The fucking Performance Center. I mean, like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. Believe me, I totally get what you're saying. And I know we've gone completely like off the rails.
So far off the rails, but so far good conversation, I hope.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Everybody keeps staying engaged. Everybody's paying attention. So, maybe we're doing something right here.
Yeah, exactly. I do know, like I said, we got Michael Tivey joining us in a couple of minutes. I was going to ask you this, Ray. Did you ever get a chance? I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but have you ever heard of the last match?
No, I haven't. I was trying to do some quick research on it when you had mentioned that Michael Tivey was going to be on the show. So far, I have gathered that it is a pro wrestling rock musical.
Yes.
I like rock. I like musicals. I think I would actually really like a pro wrestling rock experience.
Yes, and like I said, Michael will be on with us in a couple minutes, so definitely look forward to having him on. But I want to keep the conversation going here. It just so happens I just opened up Facebook for a hot second.
Oh, boy.
And no, and they're showing the first thing that comes up is GCW. Obviously, we know GCW did their homecoming show this past weekend, and Cardone.
It was a really good weekend for wrestling this past weekend, and I'm ashamed that I had too much stuff going on in the real world that I couldn't sit down and really take it all in.
And I think one of the bigger moments for me, by far, we talked about it before, was Killer Cross showing up in GCW.
Right.
By far. And unfortunately, we don't have the video of it right now, but we will hopefully next week have the video of it. We can show you guys, courtesy of our friends over at GCW. But definitely, guys, if you did miss GCW this past weekend, go check them out on Triller. They always put on great shows. They do a lot of stuff within the tri-state area. I know they're doing a lot more stuff in Jersey now. Literally just follow them on social media, pretty much.
That's ultimately the best way to find out what's going on.
Well, here's the funny thing. Jay brings up an interesting question. Cross cut the best promo on his Instagram after he showed up at GCW. Did you guys see it?
No, I didn't. I did not see it, John.
I got a chance to see it, and I said this to a friend of mine over the weekend after it happened. WWE fumbled on Cross.
I've been saying that for years, dog.
They fumbled.
Not so much NXT Cross, but I mean both main roster crosses. Like, y'all remember the first time he came up to the main roster?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
That was wearing that Demolition look.
Gladiator bull crap.
Yeah, believe me, I remember.
Like, I was. again, I have been a huge fan of Killer Cross since he was the White Rabbit at Lucha Underground. Okay? He was fantastic in TNA, as Jay brings up. Okay? And then you see him in NXT. You see the presentation with Scarlet. You see the times ticking, tick tock, you know. And then your first introduction to him on the main roster is him dressed up like a reject out of Spartacus. And then they let him go, and then they bring him back. And then he's carrying Cross again. And then they bring him up to the main roster, and they still water him down. Now we don't know what to do with Karrion Kross, so now we're going to stick him with Paul Ellering and the authors of Power? Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain. Nothing against these guys. These guys are hard workers, and from everything that I have ever heard, good locker room guys, right? They're solid workers, good locker room guys. Pretty much everything you want in talent that's going to be around all the time, right? But their presentation in NXT as opposed to their presentation on the main roster was terrible. With the exception of when Seth Rollins started the Messiah gimmick. And if you remember, when he first started the Messiah gimmick, he had AOP with him as his heavies.
Yeah.
That and their NXT presentation were the best. I'm getting behind here. I know that you threw up a couple of comments from YouTube land over where Jay's been real active, and we really do appreciate that. He says they buried him when he took that loss to Jeff Hardy as NXT champion. That shit pissed me off. You're not the only one. Once you see a champion take a dive like that, how do they come back? Can they come back?
It's tough. But I did want to, because like I said, we are waiting for our guest to join us, right? I know we're jumping off course here for a second.
A little bit.
But there's one thing I do want to get off my chest. And I have been holding this back. Just going back to our independent wrestling talk before for a hot second.
Okay.
I'm noticing a trend now when it comes to independent wrestling. Yes, I'm calling out indie wrestlers right now.
Oh boy.
But you're going to see where I'm going with this in a second.
You always say that, and only sometimes does that work out.
Especially indie wrestlers who hold titles in companies. And I'm not just saying it for this, okay? But it should not be a struggle. And I understand, life gets in the way. I get it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the champion of a company, of a local independent company,
yep,
that means you represent them.
Last I checked.
It should not be a struggle that if you're representing the company, for you to go do a podcast interview. Because, and I say that for this reason, let's say they were to go to WWE or AEW.
Who hurt you, John? Who hurt you?
Or TNA. And all of a sudden they get told, well, we're flying you out to, we know Raw's in Dallas on Monday, but we're flying you out early because we want you to do some media appearances Sunday and Monday. What are you going to turn around to them and say, no, I can't?
No, because they'll pull your check and kick you out.
And also but what I'm saying is,
you out, I don't mean, when I say kick you out, I don't mean they'll kick you out of the organization. They'll kick you out of TV. They'll put you in catering.
And I'm not trying to say to be a jack, you know what.
A Jack Ace?
Yeah, but I just think when you get these guys who are in independent wrestling, it's like a struggle for them, or it's like if there's a show coming up, it's the same people every time promoting the show. I'm sorry, to me, if you are the champion of a company, part of your requirement should be. I'm not saying, I'm not saying with us. I'm not saying with us at all. I'm just saying that if you're the champion of a company and you have a podcast that comes up to you or comes up to your promoter and says, "Hey, we'd love to have so and so on," it shouldn't be well, I don't know if I want to do it, It should be, yeah, I'd love to. Let me hop on there even if it's 20 minutes.
You know why it happens in the indies and it doesn't happen in like AEW, TNA, WWE? Because there are consequences there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I am not an indie wrestling promoter. So I can't really speak on it. I can only theorize. My theory is because of there being essentially no consequences when you say, "Hey, Matt Cardona," and I'm just using his name out of recognition for recognition purposes, okay?
Yeah.
"Hey, Matt Cardona, you are now the XYZ World Heavyweight Champion. We need you to go a couple days early down to, Poughkeepsie, where we're having our show in a few days. I need you to do a couple of podcasts, a couple meet and greets, a promo appearance at a bookstore. Maybe have a chopped cheese outside of one of the markets. Just drum up some promo, some awareness for what's going on." Matt Cardona can say, "Nah, bro, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me, brother." You as the indie wrestling promoter, what are you going to do? You can't you can't backstage him. You can't throw him in catering because you have no catering.
No.
He's your biggest draw for whatever show he's got coming up. You've got coming up because A, he's got name recognition. B, he's your champion. Like, okay, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna have Matt Cardona job to Jobby McJobums at your big show as a message to him because he didn't go on he didn't do promo work for your indie org. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no consequence because Matt Cardona, and in fact, what you end up doing is you end up hurting yourself because now Matt Cardona can go, "I ain't coming back to XYZ."
But that's my
wrestling.
Unfortunately, Mike is not going to be on with us tonight. He had something that came up, so we're going to have to reschedule his appearance on the show. So I'm just giving everybody.
Oh, Mike, we hope everything is okay. Hope everything is okay. We never want to hear that something drastic came up and unable to make the show.
Absolutely,
but deal with whatever you have to deal with first, and let us know later.
But my point is this, though. I'm not saying it for somebody who just got released from WWE or somebody who just got released from AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the.
I know. I get what you're saying. I was just, again, like I said, I was just using that for.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
As to why you essentially can't.
Yeah, it's funny. Hold on. We got some more comments coming in here.
Oh, we got one from Jay. Oh, especially when he's booked with a future Hall of Famer. That's when he was that's when we were talking about my brain. It's misfiring right now.
Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Message to indie wrestlers from Jay over in YouTube land. Get yourself over with social media. He's not wrong.
No. And this is what I don't understand. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You get these people who, are given a title. Okay, great. Whoop-de-doo. Also, in this week of the show, you don't see anything from them. I was talking to a promoter over the weekend. I'm not going to mention names. But he made a valid point. He goes, "You're not putting yourself out there on social media. How are they going to know who you are outside of wherever we do our shows?" Now, granted, yes, if your goal is to be an indie wrestler and not to go past indie wrestling, then okay, great. You do that. But most indie wrestlers, their goal is to end up in a WWE, an AEW, a Ring of Honor, a New Japan, or whatever. You can't turn around and tell me that, oh, we gave so-and-so the belt, but we're not going to make them do any interviews. To me, if I'm a promoter and going back to what you just said right before about the consequences, I would turn around and say, okay, very simple then. Next show, you're dropping the belt. I'm not going to play nice, especially talking about, more like in the Northeast and how much independent wrestling there is in the Northeast.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there and, this is why indie wrestling 9 times out of 10 has the same feeling of, oh, nobody really cares. This is why. To me, I'd be like, no, if I'm giving you the title, especially the World Heavyweight title, you're the main champion of my company. Mm-hmm. Yeah, granted, I'm not asking you to go out there and, do an interview with like granted, if New York Times asked to do an interview, yeah, absolutely, I do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, you better well jump on that.
But like
jump on that, young fella, jump on it.
I'm talking about if it's a podcast, if it's a radio show, and they want to have you on to help ticket sales. If you turn around and say, "Oh, I can't do it," and again, I get the fact life happens. Okay, I understand that, but you're not. Nobody's busy 24/7 that they can't carve out 20 minutes, even 15 minutes. Because then you're going to wonder
what done in 15 minutes. Just ask my wife.
But then you're going to sit there and you're going to see photos of shows where the crowd is 20 people.
And it could have been 200.
And it's like, the promoter sits there and goes, well, what am I doing wrong? Why are ticket sales in the toilet? Well, gee, it's because your talent doesn't give a crap.
Well, I mean, look at what happened look at Ring of Honor. What made Ring of Honor so big is you had a really good nucleus of guys, and they would bend over backwards to promote. I mean, granted, podcasts weren't big back then, but you still had dirt sheets, you still had radio, you still had signings.
Mm-hmm.
And look at now. Ring of Honor is put up in regard with, the TNAs and the New Japans.
And again, I'm not saying it because we have a show here and we have a lot of indie guys on. I'm not saying it because of us. I'm saying it in general. I don't care what promotion you are. I just figure at this point, if you are somebody who your goal is to get to a WWE, to a much bigger platform. I mean, I'll put it this way. There's a reason why guys like Marcus Mathers, I'll give him as a prime example, why somebody like Marcus Mathers is a WWEID prospect. Somebody like Bryce Donovan, another good example. We see him on Evolve every week. He's from Creator Pro right here on Long Island.
Yep.
There's a reason why WWE is taking notice of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's because of the fact that not only did they get themselves over in the ring, they got themselves over on social media. They got themselves over out. I mean, we always hear the comments from wrestlers. It's not so much of your involvement in the ring; it's what you do outside of the ring that also matters. And especially if you're representing a company, you want that company to stand out, you better bet your ass. If let's say, God forbid, I'm ever given a title for a company, I would make sure I'm at least doing 1 or 2 podcasts before the show.
Yeah.
Or at least make a presence of myself that it's like, okay, you can have somebody, let's say you have somebody who, is coming to the show who, who's like, oh, I saw so and so at the local whatever, store, and they were like, oh, I want to come see it. That's what I'm saying. So I don't want anybody to misconstrue what we're saying here. I'm not trying to, talk negative on it. I'm just trying to light a fire under some people's butts at this point.
No, I get it.
And if it comes off, that I'm being, that it's not coming off like that, I apologize. But that's my intention with this. That is my intention with this. And that's really the only way I can look at it, is for that reason. And
well, I see how flustered it makes you and how aggravated you get, talking about it. And, maybe you feel the way you do about it because of having the podcast, I having this show. I understand that, you've gone out of your way immensely to let people who are watching and listening know that this isn't something that has affected the show directly. It's not something that you've directly run into.
no.
But being in the industry, it makes you question, why don't more people do it? It seems like such a simple thing. You don't have to go, you don't even have to fly out early.
No.
You can do it from your freaking couch.
I mean, like, another example. If, let's say, you turn around and the comment is, well, I can do it, but I have to do it from my toilet. Okay, fine.
It's not smell-o-vision, bro.
Yeah. And also, the thing is, I mean, we had it last
Mute
week.
yourself when you flush.
I'll put it this way. Like, there was a few times, Ray, when you were on last week with us, and also your camera, I don't know what happened, but also you went off the stream for a second. Your voice was still there. And you can do that, folks, with StreamYard. You can have it set up where, let's say you don't want to be on camera per se, because you can, and I get it. Being camera shy, I understand. With StreamYard and a lot of these other platforms, you don't have to be on camera.
No, you know what the best thing you could do is? Throw up the promotional flyer as your avatar.
Exactly. And that's all we're trying to say. All right, hold on. We got some more comments coming in here.
Oh, from Jay. Jay, man, Jay's doing work over in YouTube land, man. It is appreciated, brother. He says, PJ Savage was doing promos outside his building every day, all day. Ain't no excuse for you candy asses.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to say is, you can tell the people who care, because they're the ones who are going to cut the promos every day, who are going to put themselves out on social media every day and make themselves known. The people who we're not sure about are the ones who are like, oh, yeah, I have a title with a company, and, yeah, I have to defend it.
No, I get you, and here's what I say to that, all right? What I say to this point. You have... We had used the Matt Cardona explanation or reference point scenario. You don't have to have Matt Cardona be your spokesperson for that match within your organization just because he's Matt Cardona and just because he's a champion. He's just eye candy for your organization, right? He's not going to be there for the long haul. You know who you have do the promo work? The guy that's going to beat him for the title.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy that works within your organization. That's the guy that's going to be there. That's the guy that is going to be consistent and the mainstay. So you have him do the promo work. You let you want to let Matt Cardona's name and likeness carry the show? Cool. But you better damn sure have a backup plan for when he gets a bigger contract from a different indie org.
No, I get what you're saying. Believe me, I totally do. But let's get off of this for a hot second here because we got a PLE coming up this weekend.
Do we
And
really?
Yeah, we do. Shockingly enough.
Oh, Clash of the Castle. That's right.
But let's just we got, like I said, we got.
No. I'm sorry. This one's in Gay Paris, so it is Clash at the Tower, as in the Eiffel Tower.
Yes. We're gonna go through the matches here. First match we got here is for the WWE Women's IC title. Mm-hmm. Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella. Who do you have winning this one?
Becky.
Yeah, I'm starting off with the barn burner of a match.
Listen, I haven't seen any of Nikki since she's been back. I would assume, based on her work ethic and her drive, that she doesn't look like she's missed a whole lot of time. I'm pretty sure her ex-husband will attest that she can still throw the lefts and the rights. So, but yeah, I don't see Nikki. I feel like Nikki's not here for the long haul, which is fine. She doesn't have to be. She's done that already. She's earned her stripes. She's put in her time. She can be a part-timer, but please don't put the title on a part-timer. We don't like that. No. Jay over in YouTube land again says, Lynch, but I'm not liking her heel run for some reason. Feel she's trying too hard, just like the way she shoehorned that Aussie line in yesterday. And I got to tell you, from what I have seen from the heel Becky persona, even with the Lyra Valkyria, I keep wanting to call her Lyra Valkyrie, but that's a completely different person. That is Taya Valkyrie, married to one John Morrison.
No, Johnny TV, now get it right.
Oh, sorry, Johnny TV. So I'm not a fan of it.
I feel like it's being too forced. I think the problem is Becky is in a position where the fans love her.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's kind of one of the problems when you're a long-standing mainstay with a company and you're always over with the crowd, whether it's your previous heel work, your face work, what have you. It kind of comes to a point where in order to be booed, you got to do something pretty drastic, and she hasn't done anything real drastic. Maybe she does against Nikki this weekend, but I don't know, bro. I really don't.
For me, I think Becky retains. I think eventually, could we see something with Nikki holding the title in WWE? Yes, but I don't think I don't think you have Nikki win a title on a B-level pay-per-view. Let's call a spade here.
Oh, listen, as far as I'm concerned, for like main event level pay-per-views, PLEs, it's always and only ever going to be the big four.
Yeah.
Everything else is always a B pay-per-view. Everything else is always an in-your-house knockoff.
Exactly. So I think unless we're getting closer to like a Survivor Series or something like that, then yeah, maybe it's a possibility. But I think for a show like this, no, I don't see it happening. This one I'm surprised is not a shoe on a pole match after what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Oh, Lord.
Roman Reigns takes on Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman. By the way, did you know
that... I'm sorry, did you just say Paul Heyman?
Heyman.
Bro, you mumbled your words so hard, it didn't even sound like you said Heyman. Literally sounded like you said Henwich. I'm like, is that new?
Here's my question. Did you know that Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns are both Samoan?
Don't do that. Because Bronson Reed is not Samoan. He's Maori. Don't do that. Please tell me that's not what they've been doing. Is that what they have been doing?
On Monday Night Raw, last night they did it. Where Bronson Reed...
He is Maori. Listen, there's not a whole lot of things I am very sure of in this world. But I am very sure that the Maori population in New Zealand lost their shit when they called Bronson Reed Samoan.
Okay, but okay, then here's the other thing. When did JC Mateo, not, I was about to call him Jeff Cobb for a second. When did JC Mateo turn Samoan?
Matanza?
Yeah, when did he turn Samoan?
He's not. He's like Filipino, isn't he?
Yeah, but the thing now is, what is it now? Everybody who looks like they're Samoan is part of it?
No. Okay, so listen. Mateo is a lot easier to explain than calling Bronson Reed fucking Samoan when he's Maori. It's the faction that Mateo is a part of. And I'm going to keep calling him Mateo because if I don't, I'm going to keep calling him by his name that he is actually known in the wrestling world for. Matanza Cuerto.
Yeah.
So the faction that Mateo is part of is called My Family Tree.
Yes, MFT.
MFT. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's from the family tree. You can, as you get older, and you'll learn this, you can pick your family. Mm-hmm. Just because you were born into something doesn't mean that you have to stay a part of it. So that's why, for me, the Mateo thing is easier to explain away.
Yeah,
we know he's not Samoan, but, and then they can make up some ridiculous loyal backstory between Sikoa and Mateo. Or Sikoa and one of the other dudes.
You mean
you just kind of... Go ahead.
No, I was saying, who do you have winning this one? Roman or the not Samoan Bronson Reed?
I think Bronson Reed... Well, let me rephrase that. I would like to see Bronson Reed catch the dub on this because Roman Reigns is at such a point in his career. He is the Teflon Don. He could lose a match to Hornswoggle and be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Jay's got we're a little behind on Jay. Jay's got, it has to go to Bailey, the IC, loving the split personality gimmick. It's really, I always love myself some Crazy Steve. For those of you that don't know, Crazy Steve was over in TNA. He was a legally blind wrestler. He did the split personality stuff. It was great. He was awesome.
But there was also a character in Drake and Josh, like 20-something years ago, whose name was Crazy Steve.
Did you just reference a Nickelodeon show that was on that documentary about how bad Nickelodeon shows were to their kids?
Yes, let's move on.
Okay. You're fired from the WWE ID program. Sorry, we're letting you go. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Jay
also said, over in YouTube land, they called him Jeff Cobb in his debut. Now he's JC Mateo. Really killing a good talent to have. He's not wrong. I said that when I was absolutely thrilled to see Jeff Cobb with a run-in. I was like, oh my God, Jeff Cobb! Jeff Cobb! Jeff Cobb! And, Michael Cole was like, oh my God, Jeff Cobb! Jeff Cobb! Jeff Cobb! And good old JR was like, oh my God, Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Anyway, and then like 4 days later, he's JC Mateo. I don't even know where the hell that came from, how they explained that away. We're just going to act like Michael Cole never said that, I guess. The last comment for now from Jay says, Reed really needs the win. He needs this victory. Yes, he does. Roman doesn't need the dub. Roman's shirt's going to still sell after he loses to Bronson Reed the way it did before he lost to Bronson Reed. Hell, it might even boost the sales. Because people might go, oh my God, Roman lost. Is he not? Are they getting ready to write him off? Oh my God, let me go buy his merch.
I think with me, I think Reed needs a win here to keep the division where they are. I think that's because I think you take a loss here. Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, it's not going to hurt Roman at all. But I think if Bronson Reed takes a loss here,
Then how do you take that faction? How respectfully, right? How do you take that faction seriously?
exactly.
John David John says, time to push Reed as a true monster heel, which they were doing. And you know when they did it last? When he destroyed the out of Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Then what happened? Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
We got a few more matches.
Nothing.
Then we got one other story I want to get to that I just came across on Facebook that, yeah, it's going to make things very interesting here. But
oh, Lord. I always
Sheamus takes on Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
A Donnybrook. A Donnybrook. Well, you know what they say. Whenever Sheamus is on the card, it's fight night.
You know what's funny? I hate to say it. We were saying before about Reed needs to win here. I think Rusev needs a win.
Absolutely. Jay actually said he's not interested in this match. He said, fuck this match. Fuck them guys. John David John says, not forgetting he destroyed Strowman too. That's right. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think Rusev, you know, we talk about the guys who made the move from AEW to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
They've done nothing with Rusev. I think he needs a win here.
I feel like that's the story of Rusev's life lately.
Mm-hmm. So we're both agreeing.
No, you're absolutely right. He needs the win. He needs to win more than anybody.
We got two matches here. We're going to try to do these quickly because, like I said, I got one more story I want to get to quickly. Fatal 4-Way for the World Heavyweight title. Rollins takes on Punk, Jey Uso, and L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. I really want L.A. Knight to win, bro. I do. I want L.A. Knight to win so bad. Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting question. And, you know, if you're watching this, obviously leave your comments below for this one. Who wins and who takes the pin?
Rollins will win. Punk probably takes the pin. Because again, Punk is at the point in his career, Teflon Don, right? So you have him take the career. Good Lord. You have him take the pin. You're going to give Rollins the win because you need this faction to stay strong, and you still keep LA Knight and Uso strong, and all you got to do is just have Braun and Bronson. You got to have Reed and Steiner, you know, take out Knight and Uso, and then boom.
I would say for me, I think Rollins wins, but I think Jey Uso takes the pin. Because you notice how they've been hinting at sort of like a heel turn with him?
I don't know if it's a heel turn.
But like I said, I think, and then last, and I sure as hell think is going to be your main event. John Cena takes on Logan Paul.
So this is John Cena's farewell tour. He already lost the title. I don't know. That's a tough one. Do you give it to Logan Paul, who really doesn't need the help? Like, he has made himself over?
Well, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Logan wins, but not clean.
I would be okay with that.
And the reason I say that, you got to set up WrestlePalooza in a couple of weeks, and who are we hearing as the main event?
I don't know. Who are we hearing as the main event?
Cena and Brock?
At WrestlePalooza?
Yeah,
Really?
because they got to counter program WWE. They're like AEW, sorry.
And they went with WrestlePalooza?
Well, that's the first pay per view on ESPN.
I know, but they went with WrestlePalooza as the name?
That was an old ECW name from back in the day.
I know that, but it was okay when ECW did it because they're going off of the Lollapalooza. Like there was a lot of paloozas back then, so it fit in with the lexicon of pop culture.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard of a palooza going on?
I have no idea.
Exactly. That was just dumb marketing on their part.
But
John David John says, I think Sheamus hinted at a possible Rusev win when he said that he wants to drag the old Rusev out and show the crowd the real Rusev. That makes sense. That was a good pickup by you, John David John. And the king of YouTube, I'm just calling him the king of YouTube from now on. Jay says, I'm going to say Paul as well.
I think Paul, the only way Paul wins is Brock shows up.
That makes sense.
Because that's the only way. I mean,
hey, how did you feel about Brock showing up at the end of the pay-per-view? I don't think we ever really did. We talk about this? I can't.
No,
remember.
We didn't. Talk about it quickly. Honestly, I kind of expected it because if you've seen Cena's run last year, it's all the greatest hits.
That's true.
And you can't. If you look at the greatest hits of Cena's rivalries over the last 25 years, who's his biggest rivalry of all?
Oh, Brock, easily.
So you knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of when.
Honestly, I wasn't even sure. I thought they'd want to stay away from Brock a little bit longer. I mean, it's starting to come out now that he really didn't have a hand, from what I am understanding from some of the reports. He didn't have a hand in the whole, like, he wasn't Johnny Laurinaitis when it comes to the McMahon case, right?
No.
So I think his name was in there because of something, and then he was just like, nah, I'm good, bro.
Quickly, before we wrap up tonight, there was a story that just came out. Obviously, we know AEW is at the 2300 Arena for the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
They have their Philadelphia residency.
Yep.
And it just came out today, actually, through IATSE, which I guess is the local union that puts together the AEW show.
IATSE?
Yeah.
The International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. That's why it sounded familiar.
Yes. Just reading here right now, it says this week the IATSE local 8 members are out in force to inform the public that all Elite Wrestling AEW events in Philadelphia are failing to meet area standards by paying a substandard wages and benefits. When employers undercut those standards, it threatens wages, benefits, and job opportunities for all entertainment workers in the community.
So if I am to take that into layman's terms,
AEW screwing up.
Well, I was going to say, in addressing the actual issue, is AEW is finding people that aren't union that are working, which goes to show me that 2300 is not a union house.
No.
Unlike Madison Square Garden, which is a union house, which is why the WWE Network couldn't really do a whole lot there.
Yeah, no, but I just wanted to bring that story up quickly before we wrap up for tonight. But Ray, great show tonight.
Same to you, sir.
Final thoughts? Floor's yours.
Psycho Stu, I know you don't know us from a hole in a wall. We're just wrestling fans just like you were at one point. We wish you the best, a speedy and smooth recovery. I did hear that his brother, opened up a GoFundMe. So if you go to GoFundMe and you search Psycho Stew, I am sure that he will pop up. If you can't donate, promote it. You know, we are aware that as wrestling fans, that indie wrestlers, they don't have the benefits.
No.
You know, they don't have the benefits that a lot of the big orgs can give their employees or their contractors.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're pulling for you, my man.
I absolutely agree. Like I said, great show tonight. I agree with what Ray said. Our wishes go out to Stu, and for a speedy recovery, and that hopefully whatever happens to Rampage Jackson's son is, that he sees the consequences of his actions. I think that's the best way to phrase it.
I would like next week to maybe brush on when things have cooled, because right now it's still new, it's still very raw.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what should be the consequence? Should there be consequences, or because of it happening in a wrestling ring, is it something different?
You know what? We'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about that next week.
Sounds good, brother.
Guys, again, if you missed tonight's show, go back to our Facebook page, go back to our YouTube page, subscribe, hit. Ooh,
Jay, the king of YouTube. The king of YouTube. He said, hey, guys, you know what you need to do? Just spitballing here. Maybe you need to ask Nyla Rose about the incident. I think that would be fantastic to get her thoughts. Now, obviously, we're not going to expect her to bash anybody, but I would be real interested in hearing what she has to say. And thank you very much, Jay. You have been an absolute rock star over on YouTube. Hopefully next week we can have some people join you, keep you company, because, my man, you have kept that YouTube popping.
Yes. Because like I said, if you missed tonight's show, go back to our YouTube page, go back to our Facebook page. If not, go check us out on Spotify, Apple, TuneIn, iHeart. Also catch us this Saturday, 12 to 2 on Odyssey through Backstage Radio Network. We might have some news coming down the pipe from them, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. Again, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Got one more comment coming in here.
Our buddy John David John over across the pond. See how that rhymes? I like it. Almost missed the show, but glad I didn't, guys. Thank you for another awesome episode. David, I know I've been calling you John David John because I couldn't get your name correct every time earlier in the night, but you've been a fantastic sport with that, and we greatly appreciate you always turning in, whether John shares the page the right way or not, and you going digging for it.
But guys, like I said, we appreciate everybody who watched us. Guys, again, like we said before, Nyla Rose joins us next week. You're not going to want to miss this. If you guys have any questions that you guys want us to ask, message them to us on Facebook.
On the Facebook.
Yes. And guys, I love how David plays right into it.
He's fantastic, man. One of our oldest fans. Well, I'm sorry. That is the wrong term. One of our longest reigning fans. I don't want to give the idea that he is, 85 and in a walker. No. He's one of our longest reigning fans. He said, JDJ for short works for me, boys. And with that, we will see you next week with the native beast, Nyla Rose.
And Mike Scaros.